Alright, what is up, everybody? We actually got some information. This is actually hot off the presses. We actually got the next regulation for VGC confirmed, as well as the in-person tournament regulation rules confirmed for at the end of August, starting on September 1st. The next regulation is Regulation J. And you guys aren't going to believe this, y'all. Regulation J is going to be with the addition of two restricted Pokemon. This also includes Mythicals. You heard me correctly. Mythicals are going to be allowed in VGC. This might actually be the first time, actually, for the first time. So, kind of interesting. This is also going to go until November of 2025. So, about, I think, like a month or two. So, not really. It's kind of going to be like a short regulation. It's only going to be like a month or two. So, actually 2 months. So, technically, no, September, October. So, 2 month regulation, which is a little bit shorter than some of the other ones that are over 3-4 months, most of them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We ain't done though. Live VGC tournaments will use the Regulation H rule set until November of 2025. So pretty much what they're going to be doing right now is if you're playing in-game on the casual, I guess probably the casual ladder, you can play whatever you want on the casual ladder, but you're probably going to be running into a bunch of mythical teams with double restricteds and then all your legend using 5-year-old little Timmy and little Johnny noobs. They're gonna have a field day with this. I can guarantee you that on the casual ladder. But pretty much what your in-game ranked ladder is gonna be, it's gonna be the Regulation J rule set for up until November of 2025. So if you want to play in-game on the ranked ladder, you're going to have to play with the Regulation J rule set if you at least want to be competitive. You can still like use Regulation H teams or like Regulation G teams and all that type of stuff if you really want to. All this really does is allow you to use a mythical on your team now, which we're going to talk about towards the middle end of this video. We're going to be going through a list of mythicals that I think might be good and stuff that is currently in the game, because a lot of them aren't even in the game, unfortunately. And then if you're in person, live VGC tournaments are going to be using Regulation H. So if you're going to be going in person tournaments, anything that's Pokemon sponsored by the Pokemon Company or Game Freak or whatever it may be, if you're doing live VGC tournaments, they are going back to Regulation H. So if I'm being real with you guys, I wanted like a no Terra format or like a revert to Regulation H. We got that, a revert to Regulation H, but it's not for the in-game stuff. So if I'm somebody like me that wants to use a Regulation H team, and I want to go on the casual ladder, even like the Regulation J ladder with a Regulation H team, I'm gonna get absolutely fucking wrecked. So kind of unfortunate if I'm being real with you guys. I'm really kind of disappointed, but at the same time, I'm a little bit intrigued with like the mythicals, because I don't think we've ever had like mythicals being allowed. So that's kind of cool. I think the only reason they're allowing them is because there's such a limited amount of number of them in the game. And if I'm going to be real with you guys, I don't think there's that many good mythicals. We're going to talk about them. There's maybe like a handful, like 2 or 3 that are actually viable. And I actually think a lot of the restricted Pokemon like Calyrex Ice, Miraidon, etc., you guys know the drill. Those ones are actually a lot better than a lot of the mythicals. I think a lot of the restricted Pokemon we currently have been using for like almost a year now are actually better than a lot of the mythicals that we currently have available to us in the game. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys actually participate in live in-person tournaments? If you do, you're going to be playing on Regulation H rules. I wish the in-game would have been a Regulation H. I want to go back to Regulation H so bad, but like I guess I can make a Regulation H team and I can go on the casual ladder with it. There'll probably be a lot more people testing the Regulation H teams and stuff and playing that format now, being that it's kind of the secondary format if you're going to be playing in like live VGC tournaments. But like if you're going using that type of team on the casual or even like the ranked ladder, you're just going to get absolutely fucking wrecked by these Regulation J and even like Regulation I and G teams. So shout out to Joe Merrick as well, absolute fucking scumbag. I say it every time. His site has absolutely so many fucking ads on it. I never have ever seen so many ads on this fucking site. Shout out to Joe Merrick for being an absolute fucking scumbag, for the wanting the extra few cents of ad revenue and completely ruining his site, by the way. This is probably one of the last times I use Celaby for any of my videos, because the ads on this site are absolutely out of fucking control. Half of these ads don't even fucking portray to me. Like, there's a bunch of random shit, like, really weird. Hopefully he gets that extra few cents in ad revenue, though. That's besides the point. We actually here's a list of all the mythicals as well right now that are currently, or this kind of a list of them. Some of these aren't even in the game. Some of the ones that are not in the game, or at least in Scarlet and Violet right now, Metal and Meltan are not in the game. I don't think Zera Aura is in the game. Same with Marshadow. I think Marshadow would actually be pretty good if it being real, but I don't think that's actually in the game. Petrarun is in the game. That's actually a mon that we have not been able to use because it's a mythical, so that's kind of interesting. I don't think Petrarun's going to be really that good, though. You guys got to keep in consideration, like, a lot of these Pokemon, they get wrecked by a lot of the shit that's already good in Regulation I and Regulation G. A lot of these Pokemon either get wrecked by Miraidon, Calyrex, or Calyrex Ice. So you got to keep that in mind as well. And the ones that aren't here that would maybe be good aren't even in the game. So we got Deoxys as well, which I think is kind of interesting because there's a few different forms. Maybe you'll see a bit of Deoxys speed, could be pretty cool. I don't know. It's also a psychic type that gets wrecked by Calyrex. Unless you're running like Deoxys defense, you're forced to Terra defense if you want to do anything versus Calyrex Shadow, which is like on every fucking team. Same with Zamazenta, like a lot of these mons get kind of hard walled or wrecked by Zamazenta too, so I think that a lot of people are saying there's going to be a lot of these broken mythicals, but like if I'm being real with you guys, I think a lot of the mythicals that we actually have are actually worse than what we already have with Regulation I and Regulation G than some of the regular legendaries we have in the game. I think the main two that you're going to be seeing, if I'm going to go out on a limb here and say three of the mythicals you're going to be seeing in a lot of teams, I'm going to say no brainer is going to be Magearna. Magearna for sure is probably going to be on every single team, or at least being used a lot, because Soul Heart is such a broken ability. If you guys know what Soul Heart does, pretty much its ability is no matter if something dies on the field, whether it's an ally Pokemon on your side or the enemy team, if they die on the field, it gets a +1 special attack boost. So you can easily snowball out of control, and plus you have really good stats and then one of the best typings in the entire game. Plus you have Fleur Cannon. Fleur Cannon's fucking broken move. And then you combine that with Terra as well. So I think for sure you're going to be seeing a lot of Magearna. I think that's probably going to be the best mythical, if I'm being real with you guys. You're going to see Magearna being used a lot. The other two I can see maybe being used a decent amount is Arceus. Arceus normal ain't bad, especially if you can like Sword Stance Arceus. Plus you have the ability to run at any single type you want, which is kind of cool. You can have it hold a plate and run every type you want. It has solid stats. Everything's base 100s, and it has an incredibly good move pool. I think Arceus could be pretty good as well, especially depending on what variant you want to run. It's kind of unpredictable because you can run special or physical or even like supportive, which is kind of cool. And then like I think the only other mon I can see maybe being used and experimented with out of this cast, at least that's what's in the game, is maybe Jirachi, because I think Jirachi is in the game right now as well. So I'm not sure though. Is Jirachi in the game? I swear I saw it in the game. I'm pretty sure it's in the game. I think Jirachi's in the game. I might actually have one on my PC as well, so I might have to look. I'm pretty sure Jirachi's in the game though. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. If you guys want to let me know in the comments down below, but I think that's the only other mon that I would say maybe doing something. And even then, I think the most common set with Jirachi, if you're going to want to be running this mon, would probably be like Choice Scarf. Or you're forced to Terra this thing because it gets wrecked by Calyrex. So I don't know. You gotta run. I would love to run like a really fast like King's Rock set with like Ice Punch and like Iron Head just to try to flinch and freeze everything. I think that'd be really annoying but really fun to use. But like I think unfortunately the most common that you're probably gonna see with Jirachi is probably like Serene Grace, Iron Head spam type of builds, or like Meteor Mash spam or that type of thing with the Choice Scarf to try to outspeed Calyrex. Or like go Terra Dark or something, or Terra Normal for Calyrex. I think that's the main thing that's going to really hold Jirachi back. Otherwise, I think it would be incredibly good. But Calyrex is in this format, along with a few other things that are pretty good into it. As for a few of the other ones, I think the main one I'm looking forward to using is Darkrai. I think Darkrai could be pretty good. I don't want to give you guys any evil ideas, but I think Darkrai with Dark Void with Gravity, alongside like a Prankster Gravity, would be fucking evil. I don't know if that actually works, but that's just one thing I kind of came up with off the top of my head. I'm kind of interested in seeing if that would actually work. So, it's also a dark type as well. So, do you really want to run Darkrai over a lot of the other dark types though that are in the format, like Urshifu Dark and like some of the other stuff that wouldn't take a restricted slot away from you? I don't know. But it is a really fast dark type that is good into Calyrex unless they go Terra Fairy. So that's one thing it has going for it. So there's a niche for Darkrai. I can see Darkrai having some kind of a specific niche in this format as well. As for other stuff, I don't know if Shaman's in the game. I'm pretty sure actually it is. So you have Shaman Normal and Shaman Sky. Shaman Sky could be decent, but I think the main problem with Shaman Sky is that they just get outsped by too many things. So like if you want to run Shaman Sky, you got to run it under like either Tailwind or run it with Choice Scarf. And then you got to go with like Serene Grace, like air slash flinching type shit if you want to run Shaman Sky. Shaman Normal, I don't think you're going to be seeing Shaman Normal at all, like the base form. I just don't think it's going to be that good. Maybe you'll see a little bit of Shaman Sky, I don't know. But, a few other things here. We have Volcanion. Volcanion's okay. I don't think it's going to be incredibly good because it's just so fucking slow. It hits really hard, but man, it's so slow, and like, its move pool is okay. I guess you got Steam Eruption and Scald, and like, but apart from like fire and water moves, you don't really get too much coverage. Unless you go like Terra Blast. I think it maybe gets Earth Power, I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess it would be a decent check into like Kyogre with Water Absorb, but like even then you're not doing shit anyways. Even with the Water Boost, like what do you do back to Kyogre anyways unless you go like Terra Grass, Terra Blast or something? I don't know. It has Water Absorb, which is a niche for like Urshifu and I guess Kyogre and stuff, but I just don't think it's going to be that good. Hoopa's another one. I think it's just overall too slow and it gets wrecked by Calyrex. That's going to be the main thing that holds it back. Same with like a few of the other really common mons in the format, like Urshifu Dark and a few other things that just kind of wreck it, unfortunately. Zarude has a terrible typing. It's Grass Dark. Similar to like Shiftry. Shiftry was okay and like niche at best in Regulation H, and you think that would be a format where that type of mon would shine. Same type of typing for Zarude, Grass Dark. Not really the fastest of mons. It's okay stat-wise, but I just don't think it's going to be that good. We kind of talked about Pecharunt. Mealoetta is kind of interesting because it is part normal type, so you don't have to really worry about Calyrex, but at the same time, if you want to transform and use the other form, the fighting type form for Mealoetta, you got to spend a turn trying to do that, which just, it loses so much momentum, it really does. So if you want to use the fighting type Mealoetta, you got to try to EV and do everything for that, and then try to use a turn to try to hopefully put somebody to sleep or do damage, transform. And wasting a turn to do that is just not really worth a lot of the time. Keldeo is another one that's kind of cool, just mainly because it's water fighting, but at the same time Urshifu's in the format, so unless you want a special type Urshifu or like running this under like a rain team, which I can maybe see it being ran under, that would be the only specific case to maybe run this thing under, but even then, like it doesn't really do much different than a lot of the other current stuff that we already have, unfortunately, and it has a really bad move pool. Apart from like Secret Sword and like Hydro Pump, I don't think it gets like any water moves. It has really bad move pool for this generation, unfortunately. So Victini is the one I really want to use, but unfortunately Victini is not in the game. Fuck Game Freak, because a lot of these mons are not in the game. Same with like Meltan, Melmetal. Like I said, we talked about Marshadow and Zeraora. Those aren't in the game either. Diancie is one I don't think it's going to be that good. Maybe under Trick Room, you might have a niche because it's really bulky. I don't think Diancie is going to be that good either. Manaphy is okay, but it's just a base water type. Maybe with like Tail Glow stuff and like Rain with Hydration could be okay. I just don't know. It's kind of too early to see, and like at the same time, there's a lot of water types in the format already that you're really going to want to be using. Usually, a lot of the time, the water type goes to like either like a Kyogre or like Urshifu, and like this is also another thing that gets wrecked by Miraidon. So I don't know how good that really would be. Same with like Volcanion. Like Miraidon's like one of the top 3 usage things in the format. So if you're using that type of thing, you have to have a really good check to Miraidon. So I don't know if Celaby is in the format. I'm not sure if Celaby is even in the game. It's in the format, but I don't know if it's actually in the game. Let me know in the comments down below. But I don't think Celaby is going to be getting used at all. Just a terrible typing for this format. It gets wrecked by everything. Wrecked by so many common things. I don't think it's that good. Nor is it strong enough to really justify using. Same with Mew. Mew is decent because it has a great move pool, but apart from that, like you're forced to Terra this thing a lot of the time. Otherwise, you just lose to Calyrex. And like I just overall don't think it's really the greatest, especially compared to some of this other stuff here. Genesect's another one I think would be really cool. Really cool typing and Steel Bug. And it actually has really good stats, but it's not in the game. So Again, another mon that I think would actually have a really cool role, especially have learn like a choice scarf or something on it would be kind of cool. Choice scarf Genesect or banded Genesect or something. Or even throwing like a drive onto this thing with like a different type would be kind of cool. Plus a Terra. I'm not sure how that actually interact. Would you be able to use a drive and actually change the Techno Blast to a different type plus a Terra? Use that on top of the different typing. I'm not sure how that would actually work. We'll never know because the Genesect's not in the game, unfortunately. So a lot of the stuff I would really like to use, like Zeraora, Victini, Genesect, and a lot of this other stuff, is just not in the game. I think that's one of the main downsides of Scarlet and Violet. Like a lot of these mons just aren't in the game still for whatever reason. If I had to choose, though, I think the top three you're probably going to be seeing. Probably Meagarin is going to be the main one that you're going to be seeing a lot of your matches and a lot of people be using. Arceus is another one that'll be really good. And then maybe Jirachi, and I'd say as like a number 4 that you probably see, probably maybe a little bit of Darkrai being experimented with or played with. So apart from that, a lot of these mythicals I don't think are really on the level of like a lot of the restrictions that we currently have, and a lot of them don't really, at least on paper, don't seem like it really pays using them, at least currently. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I will be doing some Regulation J content going forward. Once people start posting teams, I'm going to get right into it for you guys. We're going to hop into Regulation J. So I plan on maybe making like 1 or 2 teams. We'll see how it goes. Maybe 1 or 2 teams. It depends how much I'm really motivated for Regulation J and how it goes. I kind of want to build around Darkrai and like 1 or 2 other things, maybe. But I don't know. I might make 1 or 2 of my own teams. We'll find out. But I will be making some Regulation J content over here as well. Maybe some Regulation H stuff as well. So if that interests you guys, subscribe. Gonna be getting back into the Wi-Fi battles. I know I've been kind of lacking with the Regulation I stuff just because I'm so burnt out and like nobody's posting new teams with Regulation I at all. Like I have no teams to feature for you guys. But hopefully with Regulation J here, so people start making some teams and I'll feature them for you guys here. Hopefully starting this weekend, maybe. So I'm gonna get out of here. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in a future video.